Hey, hello there, and welcome back to this Woman Wednesday edition of Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco. We're coming today live as we do every day, noon to 2 Eastern. We're bringing you the best guests, but we try to give you the woman's perspective on Wednesday every which way we can. And we got one of the best of them right now and coming up next. Jan Dubauskas joins us now. She's a healthcare expert. She's Vice President of Health Insurance Innovations. And Jan, thanks for joining us via Skype today. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me on.
Hey, how are you? So, Jan, there's a lot of going on out there in the world, especially with the 2020 election related to healthcare. I think that's the #1 issue. What are the key issues facing us with our healthcare system these days?
Well, really the #1 issue is affordability. We at Health Pocket recently ran a survey that said 85% of Americans feel that healthcare costs are just too high. Healthcare is becoming unaffordable. So there's all kinds of proposed solutions out there, and that's what we're seeing in some of this, the debates and with the different candidates, is they have different ideas about how do we come to a better solution that's more affordable for consumers. But really, what consumers need is affordability first.
Yeah, of course everyone likes affordability, but now we see the results of the primary last night where Bernie Sanders comes out on top. He's talking about complete and utter free health care for all. That's a little too affordable, isn't it? And don't unions and people with Cadillac plans get really hurt under that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Medicare for all is really, supposed to be very expensive. So $30 trillion over the course of the next 10 years, that adds up to something like $10,000 per person per year. Bernie's plan would shift those costs to higher wage earners. So the lower wage earners wouldn't actually pay that much cost in their taxes. It would all move to those who pay more in tax and earn more, but also to corporations. And so what we would see is healthcare would appear to be more affordable for those who earn less income, but it would actually become a much greater burden for those who earn more. So that really doesn't solve the issue of affordability. And then what it does is it creates a whole new system for 300 million people, most of whom are already pretty satisfied with the health insurance they have. It is interesting that Pete Buttigieg, he's coming in a close behind, and he's looking for Medicare for all, more of a public option, which is a very different program than Bernie's Medicare for all.
So, yeah, when I hear about these crazy numbers and the amount of money that it'll cost for Medicare for all, Mayor Pete is a little like Bernie light. I get that part. Yeah. But what's the real number of Americans that actually need the government to help them and give them insurance?
That's a great question. And what we also hear is that there's 30 million people who are uninsured. There's more people who are underinsured because they have higher deductibles. But let's focus on those 30 million who are uninsured. About half of those people, 14 million, qualify for an ACA subsidy, which would make the health insurance much more affordable, or they also qualify for Medicaid in their state. So if we take 14 million people out of it because we solved that issue, we get them on an affordable ACA or a Medicaid plan, then what you're really talking about is something in the range of 15, 16 million people. 5 million of those are illegal immigrants. So now we're talking about 10 million people who really are choosing not to buy a health insurance plan. And I think that we can do something to solve that situation for those folks, right? We can develop a catastrophic plan. We can provide more wellness services at discounted rates. There are things that we can do to help those 10 million people who really don't have a solution today.
And we're going to have you back, Jan. I want to thank you so much, but I've also been reading about a new plan that Medicare has for remote patient monitoring, where the government's giving out some technology and stuff. I think that may help to lower costs by more well care for some of these people. But we got to have you back. Thank you so much. Jan Dubauskas, healthcare expert extraordinaire, joining us right here on Liquid Lunch. Now,